Hi, this is Magnet Head number 2 by Jasper Krents out of New York City. This is his Instagram handle. And how I got this and a couple of other Jasper's books is that he actually reached out to me on Instagram and asked if he could send me his work and asked my opinion of it. So I said, sure. So I got the books, I looked at them, and I wanted to feature this one. I think of the three, this is probably the most polished. And actually, for a few reasons, this is the one that I keep reading. I just finished the 4th time reading the book. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This is probably not normally what I would get because I tend to stay not as experimental with comics. And I spoke with Jasper, and he said that he was working on an experimental line of books, experimental comics, very influenced by Gary Panther. And this book is a continuation of the first book in this series, where he talks about how he had a concussion, and since he had the concussion, I guess in his mind, he feels like it's amplified, feelings of maybe social anxiety, maybe depression, those kinds of things. So this is just really a story about his ordeal. And the reason I think I keep returning to this book is just the more I look at it, the more I think about how much work and how much is in this art, because this art isn't, your polished superhero or very clean type of Dan Klaus or Adrian Tomine style art. But there's just a ton of stuff in here. It's like every time I go through it, I just see more in there, and I see more work. And it's just trying to do a visual representation as far as what he's gone through. And it's not a woe is me, feel sorry for me type of narrative. It's more like what they're trying to convey graphically what they feel is going on in their head, and how dealing with outside forces, people. Like here he says the city got blurrier, and he's in a city of 8 million people, and it's just that feeling of just being crowded in and crowded around. Just really interesting work. He's talking to his mom, and I think the mom means well, but she's really not maybe as supportive as someone you'd need. Dealing with depression. I just love the mixed media, these cutouts of these paper drawings in here, and here, and here. Then switching when he gets medication, to deal with depression, just this kind of like red pill, and then now here all of a sudden you go from black, white, and gray tones, and then here you have some color based on the cutouts with drawing looks like crayon, and all of a sudden you have all this red just to kind of signify maybe the almost having a conversation with the medicine. And then all of a sudden you're having a red in the background as brick. And then it goes back. I really like this selective color approach that he did. Here's another cutout with things drawn in a cartoon, like a young family. I believe that might be a representation of himself when he was a little kid, little boy. Yellow here. Just mixed media, different colors. Just really some interesting cartooning and thinking here as well. He talks about how he put himself out there as far as like dealing with everybody, as he started coping with the issues and the items that are affecting him. Interesting use of these really bold, like, I don't know if it's markers, but these bold colors. And then here you have like a sketch, like a pencil sketch. Just really interesting work. And I have to thank Jasper for sending me his books, because as I mentioned, this isn't something that I would normally get, but then it reminds me a lot of back in the day when I used to buy vinyl. Sometimes you'd see, I'd see like an album cover, and a band I never heard of, but there's something about the cover that I thought, oh, that looks like it might be kind of cool. Maybe there's something cool inside of it. And you really don't have that with other types of music media, not with CDs and all that. You need an album cover. And I think a large comic like this, because this is magazine size, this just kind of is different. I mean, some people are into experimental work, some people are not. But I'm glad I got this because it reminded me that I need to stay aware of experimental work, really small press work, things that I normally wouldn't want to read because, or think I'd want to read because actually I actually enjoy them. And I always think that when you find comics that you enjoy and the different types of comics, it just expands your knowledge of comics and you look at comics in a different way and also a more open-minded way. Because there's just so many different types of comics out there. And it's easy to get into a rut of the comics that you like, especially as you get older. So I just really thought that this was really fascinating. The narrative makes sense. I just think he's really trying to keep the narrative and the dialogue down and just using the images as to convey that the feelings that he has. So that's really it. There are some other books that he has. I'm not going to spoil the narrative because it's not as straight ahead and linear as you may think it would be. But I thought this was really pretty cool. And it was, and a weird side note, I saw this and I was going to message my friend 3T who publishes Told to Tell, the anthology for very small press work. And I was about to message this, and then I went on his profile on Instagram, looking about the message, and then I saw that he had posted this on his feed. So he was already aware of this, but I thought that he would be the perfect person to enjoy this work. So if you like, at 3T, style work that he likes, or if you just like independent work, or very experimental work, this might be something you'd want to pick up on. I've chatted a little bit with Jasper, serious about his work, cool guy. And so, like I said, I want to thank Jasper for sending me this and reminding me that I need to kind of make sure that I get out of my routine and not read the same stuff over and over again, and to kind of try something different, because that's where sometimes you'll have the most fun, finding something that you normally wouldn't think about reading, and then all of a sudden you read it. So you can reach out to him directly on Instagram. This is the handle again, at jasper.krents, jasper.krents. So anyway, I hope you like this little flip through, and maybe consider following Jasper. Thanks, everybody.